Oh, yes. You've got to love those New York Post headlines, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, actually, they're quite tame. The New York Post is like, you know, it's like Roget's Thesaurus compared to the English tabloids.
Right, exactly.
So I have no
So first
problem
up,
with
very basic question. April 7th. What,
6th.
I'm sorry. Okay. April 6th, what was going on that led to the arrest? What was going on in Will Rogers Park?
What was going on that led to it? Actually, I've no idea because I got there and it was all over and like done within about 2 minutes. But all that was going on beforehand was a couple of glasses of wine at lunch, I think. But nothing spectacular was happening before. No.
A cop came in and.
Well, I got followed into the restroom and then this cop decided. I mean, I didn't know it was a cop, obviously.
Right.
But he started playing this game, which is, I think it's called, I'll show you mine, you show me yours, and then when you show me yours, I'm going to nick you. That's basically it. Nick in English is kind of like, I shall arrest you.
Right.
So that's basically what happened. But actually what happened was that once he'd got an eyeful, he walked past me, walked straight past me and out, and I thought, that's kind of odd. I thought maybe he's just not impressed, you know. And then I went to walk back to my car, and as I got back to the car, I was arrested on the street.
Now you've said this is not the first time you were necessarily in a situation. Well,
not in a situation
like
I'm not necessarily as stupid a situation as that. I'm saying it's not the first time that I have had fun outside of my own four walls, put it that way, or anyone's four walls.
Exactly, as the video you'll see kind of alludes to. But I guess the question that it was on sort of everybody's immediate reaction, or many people I know anyways, I mean, this is George Michael, right? He could probably have it with, you know, wherever, whenever, with, to a large extent, whoever he wanted. You know, why be in that kind of a situation?
Well, you know, I mean, to be honest with you, I probably could have had, but, what can I tell you? I was stupid. It was a stupid thing to do. I've never been able to turn down a free meal. And really, you know, I think there's nothing more to it than that. It was a moment. It was a moment of. It was a stupid thing to do, a stupid moment, and I guess the risk was part of the excitement, I guess.
Yeah.
But I certainly had no clue. I mean, people have said things to me like, you know, surely you knew, or surely, you know, how could you possibly have been so stupid? But I'm sorry, you know, the fact is there was absolutely no one else in the vicinity, whatever the police arrest report says. There was no one else in the vicinity. It was just me. Well, actually, it was two undercover cops, only I couldn't see one of them.
Right.
And two undercover cops and a Randy pop star. You know what I'm saying? There was no one there. So how could... I mean, if someone's waving their genitalia at you, you don't automatically assume that they're an officer of the law.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You don't... excuse me, am I anywhere near the library?
A Randy pop star, however, who was and is in a relationship. So I got to ask you what impact...
Yeah, well, that to me is my... You know, that to me was the crime. Yeah. That is the only crime as far as I'm concerned, because I wasn't being exhibitionist. I thought I was having some kind of consensual encounter, you know, and, you know, there's no way that I would have thought I was being set up that way, you know.
Yeah.
So, yes, it was stupid, but it wasn't inconceivable. And, of course, everyone thinks that, you know, rock stars have such a glamorous life and such a glamorous sex life. Why would they possibly want anything as seedy as a quick situation like that?
Right.
And I would say that's probably why. You know, because, I mean... That,
but as I was saying, you didn't break up. It didn't break up your relationship. You guys are still together.
No. And apart from anything else, you know, even though I'm not saying that I have an open relationship with my boyfriend, but he knows who I am. He knows that, you know, I'm generally oversexed, so... So he's been very, very good, and he's the only
So he has the same latitude, I take it? That's
no,
cool.
No. It's just we love each other, and he understands that it was a stupid mistake, and he's forgiven me, I hope.
Cool. Well, you guys are going to see in just a few minutes what he's managed to do with this incident and make the best of it. It's terrific. Also, of course, these guys have plenty of questions. We're going to open up the floor for those questions. And as I mentioned right after the break, finally, the premiere of the video that so many people are talking about, George Michael's Outside, right after this. Stick around. yes, some classic video images from George Michael. Welcome back to George Michael TV. We've got some more soon-to-be classic video images right now because the wait is over for you guys. Here it is. For the first time in the good old US of A, I think without whom this video probably wouldn't exist.
Absolutely not. No.
Thank you, America.
Thank you, America. Yeah.
Here it is, the premiere of George Michael's Outside. Enjoy.
Strap in for an exclusive video.
All right. Amazing. See, the LAPD is not so bad.
Huh?
The LAPD is not so bad, right?
Yeah, and they were actually some of them are cuter than that. So
There you go. There you go. See, some of you guys have done it outside, right? I mean, I'm sure, right? Come on. Anyway, we should mention that was not the actual park where the arrest happened.
No, because I'm not allowed to go back there. So that was my dream, actually, that we would redo it in the same park, and that the police, as is their normal, behaviour in Hollywood, would have to cordon off the street for us. That was my that was my thing, but it wasn't to happen.
Now, Outside is not getting a ton of radio airplay in America at this point.
I think it's an understatement. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, I mean, I have to be honest. It's the fastest record outside of the States. It's the fastest record that I've had at radio since Wham, which gives you some idea of how popular it is. Okay.
Wow.
And over here, for some strange reason, nobody's playing it.
Yeah. Yeah. What could it be? What do you think? What other fallout have you seen since this thing here in the States?
Well, actually, quite a lot. Quite a surprising amount. I've had absolutely no problem anywhere else, but here in the States I've had, well, the main problem being it's not on the radio, but other problems I've had, I recorded a track with Mary J. Blige, which is on the international version of my Greatest Hits album, and it's a fantastic recording of an old Stevie Wonder song called As, from the Songs in the Key of Life album. And the president of Mary J's record company here in the States, Mr. Jay Boberg, I'll spell that for you.
Jot that name down.
Boberg. Any fan that wants to know why they haven't got the track that I've sung with Mary J. Blige on the Greatest Hits album should write to Mr. Boberg and ask him what his problem with George Michael is. And we've heard some fairly wimpy excuses, but basically it was taken off after the arrest. That was basically the thing.
Okay. Wow. And us lucky New Yorkers, we have import record shops, so we can go get the UK copy, right?
Okay.
Hear that track. And, anyway, we do have some audience questions, not to cut you off, but go ahead.
Hi, George. My name is Sumi. The video is great. I love it. But I was wondering, won't certain people think that you're not sorry for what you did?
Well, I'm only sorry in regard to my partner. In reality, I'm sorry for the embarrassment that it may have caused fans, but the truth about that is that I didn't present my sex life to them, and if the truth be known, I'm not at all, well, I'd say I was understating the fact to say that I don't think it was an accident. I don't think it was by chance that this happened to me. We have some fairly vicious people in the country where I come from, and they work in a certain street in London. I think they might have had something to do with it. And I think that to be honest, when I did the CNN interview, I was convinced that the reason I didn't go into any detail about the arrest was I was convinced that I was not going to be charged because there was an obvious there was, let's say, a little more cooperation than you would expect between the police and the paparazzi, and I thought the suspicions around that would actually mean that the charges were dropped, apart from the fact that the actual arrest itself was illegal, because entrapment is illegal. Right. But at the time, I didn't know what was going to happen with the case. So now, I mean, having been given twice the probation people normally get, been given my fine, which normally if you pay your fine, you don't do community service. But I'm doing community service, which is yet to be arranged. But I will do it, and I have no problem doing it. But
you have done community service, or
no? I've kind of started, and I've got more to do with a group called Project Angel Food in Los
right,
Angeles,
sure.
who I already do work with, and so I have no problem with that. I have no problem with some, you know, I was going to say hands-on charity work, but no.
There you go. Have to be careful, see now.
I do so
everything you
careful.
say,
Everything
right?
I say can be taken the wrong way. Exactly. But I really didn't think I was going to get charged, but I have been, and you know, I just thought really that the videos, although I'm sorry for any embarrassment it may have caused, I think that there are more important issues to deal with, and they are about people's rights and the behaviour of the police, etc., etc., etc. So it wasn't really a major consideration. My repentance was not really high on the list of priorities.
They're giving me the rap sign. We're going to go to another break. Obviously, these guys have a lot more to ask George, as do I. So we're going to be back with more George Michael TV. Stick around, please, right after this. It's Fast Love, one of the many tunes you'll find on George Michael's new Best Of collection. That record arrives in stores Tuesday, minus one track, as we mentioned before. Yes. All right, time running short, so back to the audience right now for more questions. What's up?
Hi, George. My name is Damien, and my question is, if this hadn't happened to you, would you ever have outed yourself?
Well, in all honesty, I really thought, to my fans, I thought I outed myself with the last album because, and it wouldn't seem that way in America, because in America there hasn't been that much publicity about me in the last 7 or 8 years, because I just haven't been here or been on TV. But actually, there's been a lot of publicity about my sexuality over the years in Europe, and it was... And my ex-partner's death was reported very widely. So when I dedicated the album to him and wrote the album for him, I felt like I was coming out to my fans, and you know, I didn't really care about people who weren't interested in my music. So I certainly wasn't going to go to Fleet Street and say, yes, I'm gay. But the main point is that I outed myself in my life about 8 or 9 years ago, and I've been out with everybody in my life, even casual acquaintances like family, friends, anyone who's met me within that time has known that I'm gay, just not the press. So really, this doesn't feel like an outing. This is just public outing. But any gay person who comes out realizes that the tough bit is your friends and family, and that was a great thing. It was a great liberating thing, and I did it a long time ago. So this really, I don't know if I would have come out to the press. They would have got me somewhere or other. You know, this is how it ended up, because I wouldn't give it to them. You know.
All right. Another question?
Hi, George. I'm Jason.
Hi.
Did working on your new songs get you excited about your next full album?
Well, to be honest with you, I think my next full album, I'm kind of at crossroads, I think. I think the Greatest Hits is at exactly the right time, because I feel like I have to move off in another direction now. I'm excited about the fact that probably because of the trouble I've gone through in the last 5 or 6 years and the bereavements that I've dealt with, my mother last year and my partner 5 years ago, that I'm really sick of writing about being miserable. You know, it doesn't seem to stop it happening again, for a start. So even though it's cathartic, I always feel like I'm bringing more on. So I think the next album will be a pop album. It'll be an up-tempo album, and I'm looking forward to that. But outside of that, I've no idea what it'll be right now, so I can't really get excited about it.
Great. Well, they're giving me the rap sign. How
Okay.
quickly a half hour flies by.
I know, especially with all these commercials.
Exactly. something else for him to love about America, right? Exactly. Anyway, good to see you as always.
Okay,
Thanks
thank
so
you
much
very
for
much.
doing this. Thank you
all very
guys,
much.
too. George Michael, ladies and gentlemen, the Best Of arrives in stores next week on Sony Records. Back with Sony, believe it or not. Just for one album. See you soon. Thanks very much.